Welcome back. Outside Minds podcast. Because you've already seen too much, bro.
They only added it so it could be like a ritual.
They're saying there's these, the end of times, right? There's all these signs.
Do you think we would know? Like, do you think the general public would know this game?
Take a picture for $5. You have a purpose in life, and if you don't fulfill it, you will come back until you fulfill it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Outside Minds podcast. I'm your host and creator, CeeLo Free. This is the other host and creator,
.420.
And we got another amazing guest in the house today. He is a pillar of the community. He's a DJ, he's an entrepreneur, he's a podcaster, motivational speaker, mentor, and most recently, dad,
yes,
as well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We got DJ Ralph Retro. Give him a warm welcome, everybody.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
Congrats.
Thank you so much, man.
How you feeling today, bro?
Good, man. Excited to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me on.
Nice. Hell yeah. Go ahead and give them a little bit about yourself and where our listeners could find you.
Cool, man. DJ Ralph Retro on Instagram, Twitter. Where else do I post? Snapchat, TikTok, all that good stuff. From the city of Wilmington, California. Yes, sir. I've been at Wilmington. We have our business there. We're in print on demand. Podcasting. First Mill is our brand, and our podcast as well is what we're working on.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put all those links down in the caption. So wherever you guys are checking us out, YouTube, wherever, we'll have that right there in the caption. I wanted to talk to you about fatherhood, bro. How is it like being a dad, bro? Let's open up with that.
Awesome, man. First time I get asked this. This is amazing.
Yes.
Life-changing. I feel excited, and you know what? I've never felt full in my life.
Okay.
I feel full.
Okay.
I love that. I love that feeling. So It's been some time since I've actually let myself be happy, and that's what I'm letting myself be happy.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Wow. We have a buddy, Sam Tripoli. He does a podcast, Tinfoil Hat. Shout out to Sam Tripoli.
Shout out.
He talks about fatherhood. He's like, man, like, I know that I've only had my kids for a few years, but it almost feels like they've been there my whole life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
I see this kid, and it's like I know this kid.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's amazing.
Literally a part of you.
Yes, it really is. I feel that for sure. Great way to say it.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to ask you because obviously, you're a leader. You got a lot of stuff going on. You're an entrepreneur. You're a DJ. I know a lot of those skills have translated into being a dad. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a great dad just, by the type of person you are. What about the skills that don't, I feel like becoming a dad, I'm not one myself, but maybe there are things that nothing's going to prepare you for this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I think life always prepares me for the next chapter of my life. I've been in business for, let's say, 8 years, really in business for about 5. And the business itself, I treat it like a baby. It's not an actual baby, but it's a baby. So me and my wife, we both work with the business, and we're a good team. So I think life set us up to be a really good team. The first thing we did when we first got the baby, brought him home, is set up a to-do list. I think that's the first thing that we did. And that comes from the business aspect of it as well. Very practical stuff that we're learning.
Yeah. Would you say that, no matter what things you learn outside of parenthood, there's just things that you can't be prepared for? Like, it's like, I know how to start a LLC, and I know how to balance a checkbook, and I know how to start a business and all that, but it's like none of that stuff taught me how to change a diaper or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a really good point. I think that as far as emotional goes, for me particularly, how do I feel? How do I bring him in? How do I talk to him? I'm a guy, so I don't know. My wife's more, friendly with him and things like that. To me, that aspect of it, I'm sure other people can probably relate to it a little bit more when it comes to the emotion side. But for me particularly, just the emotional side has been something that I'm learning a little bit.
How old is he?
He's gonna be a month in 4 days.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's a baby.
Dude.
You're fresh.
I'm over here thinking he's like 6 months old or something like
fresh,
that.
When I was growing up, I was the oldest of 4 other siblings, so I was raising them as a kid, and then so fresh out of high school, I worked for LAUSD and worked for ages 2 to 5, and it was easy because it was like raising my siblings all over again, you know, and people are like, how do you deal with these kids? I'm like, I dealt with them my whole life, you know what I mean?
Agree.
You just gotta relate to them on their level, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, a little kid might come
bring
in,
out your inner kid.
he just wants to show you his little Hot Wheels that he got from the store for $4, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, if you're surprised by it and you play with him for 5 minutes, that's gonna change like his whole day. And if it changes his whole day, it could change his whole trajectory. You know what I'm saying?
And
like
that's how it was, because I was a substitute teacher's assistant, so I'd go to local schools around here, and I'd be in Pedro a lot, and there's a lot of kids, you know, from the lower income, but I would play around with them different than these other teachers would, you know what I mean? So I would show them, like, not everybody is here to be mean or whatever, you know what I mean? But it was just easier just coming from that background of raising a kid.
Yeah, exactly. I get that. I like the inner child thing. Like,
Yeah,
just bring out your inner child.
That's all I did is
just
I would
relate to them.
Yeah. I would play cops and robbers with them. That's what they would want to play.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But then I
would
would make sure, like, you're arresting me, okay?
Yeah,
you
we'll
know
do
what
it
I
back.
mean? Okay, that's cool.
I
That's
love it. I
cool.
love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Nice. So speaking of all the things you are, dad, DJ, entrepreneur, and all that stuff, I could kind of relate because I feel like I put a lot of things on my plate. You know, I'm a podcaster. I consider myself an artist, producer, DJ as well. You know what I mean? How important is it to find a balance within all these aspects in your life, and how do you find that balance for yourself?
Great question. I think recently, I came across this quote that says, you can do anything you want in life, but you can't do everything. And that basically makes you want to prioritize exactly what matters. I'm 35 years old now. I've gone through DJing. I've gone through partying. I've really lived, and I know exactly what I want now. So to me, balance is just finding the priorities on what I want in life now. Okay. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Nice. Yep. Yeah. With that being said, I feel like, you know, we tend to sometimes overachieve and stuff like that. And I try to remember people to be present. And even let's say, you know, I want to do like 5 different things this weekend. I got, you know, my nephew's birthday party, and I got, you know, I got to do laundry, and I got to get this workout in, and I got to work out on this podcast. I feel like sometimes in order to be happy and in order to let myself actually grow in a respectful manner and in a good manner, I have to sacrifice things sometimes. I can't get to everything. So it kind of, you know, relates to what you said about priorities. Can you speak to that at all? Or are there some times where you're just like, I just can't do everything. I'm just going to let this one thing go, and I'll pick it right back up next week.
Yeah, and you know, as someone that's very ambitious and hungry, anything that comes your way, you want to take it. You want to go 100% with it. And the hard part is saying no, sacrificing things. You know, we want to take everything, but we really can't. We have to make sure, all right, I probably can do this, but is it what really aligns with what I want? And it's not. So, yeah, definitely that sacrificing has been something that I've been practicing a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go a little bit easy on yourself.
Yeah, you do. Like, you have
it's
to
a beautiful
give
day
yourself a break.
outside.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm not gonna work out this Sunday. I'm gonna go, you know, go early to the barbecue with the boys and get started early, as opposed to like taking this 2 hours to work out and then I'm kind of rushing through everything. You know what I mean? I try to give myself a lot of grace and take vacations and stuff like that. Do you do things like that? And if you do, how do you do it?
I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on that, man.
He's a hard worker, man.
I'm definitely working on that.
That is
man.
That's my challenge to you.
Yeah.
I invite you to put yourself maybe like 3 to 5 days away and try to book a vacation or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like get away to where
go somewhere.
You know, my favorite part of a vacation is when I'm checked in the hotel, everything's set, all my luggage is there. I'm in a different city. I've never been here before. Hopefully, like I'm in a different country. Maybe I don't speak the language or something like that. And then now I don't have to be anywhere. There's no obligations. Time to explore.
Explore.
There's not even a show I have to go to. Maybe I'll book
a
a show like the second day or something like that. But it's just time to explore because you have that sense of freedom and that release of the stress of needing to be somewhere or something like that. You know what I mean? And that kind of speaks to meditation. I made a post about that on TikTok, I think, recently. And meditation, I feel like it brings you out of that fight or flight. I feel like a lot of people are in that stress of like, I feel like when you're in fight or flight survival mode, it's usually because your brain is flipped into, I don't think I'm going to survive. So a lot of people get into that mode because they're hungry. Their body is tricked into thinking like, damn, I might not eat. You know what I'm saying? So like they get they get set off real quick.
It's the end of the world to them, no matter
yeah.
if it's a minimal problem or a big problem. Like, if they don't get through this, something else bad's going to happen. So that's all they think about.
And as soon as they ground themselves, and as soon as they have that meal, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I was kind of a dick.
Why was
earlier.
I worried about that?
You know what I'm saying? So what I try to tell people is like, it's important to have some kind of grounding activity, like meditation, that kind of takes the stress away of everything you have to do, because I feel like as overachievers, we put a lot of stress onto ourselves. You know what I mean? What kind of activities do you do to ground yourself?
Running definitely is one, but meditation too. Meditation, I visualize a lot too. So I take about 10 minutes a day right now. I'm practicing that daily. And I visualize, I become present. I've studied meditation probably like 10 years ago, transcendental meditation.
Nice.
Transcendental, right?
Transcendental meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been practicing that. And yeah, man, it's definitely big just to like get away from yourself. I like to see it as like levels. So when I meditate, I'm sure you guys know, like I elevate, I see my thoughts running. Okay, what are the important thoughts that I really care about? After that, I elevate again and see the next. Say, okay, what is this guy thinking about this guy? So. Yeah, man, I do a lot of that, but I think running itself, for me, it works. It works because I get to meditate there. It's just like smooth. It's and you're out there. I love nature now. I'm like out there.
And the sun's good for you.
Exactly.
Soak up that sun.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you guys follow this guy, because every day I open Instagram and he's freaking like at my house. You know, he's one of those guys, but it feels so good to see you on the timeline, because it feels like I'm right there on that journey with you. It's almost like that. I don't know if you've seen that guy recently, but he quit his job and he sailed from like Washington to Hawaii, sailing with Phoenix. And it feels like that when I watch your content, because it feels like I'm on the journey with you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was in that boat with his cat.
It might give people motivation, like, oh, I should be out there doing that too. You know?
Yeah, man, that's the goal. The goal is to inspire. You know, I don't really think about it anymore when I post. I just post it because you never know who needs it that day. Someone messages me randomly like, hey, thanks for the post. You know, you got me running today. So I do it for that. For sure.
That's good.
Yeah, man. I love. I want you to talk about consistency real quick, because I think you were the first person that booked me for one of my first big shows. Yeah. You booked me for DJ Blend, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I've kind of seen, we didn't really hang out too much along the way, but I've seen your journey from afar, and you've been consistent in anything you've done, you know what I mean? So can you speak to how important consistency is in anything you do? Yeah.
Huge. There's ups and downs. There's really, really highs and really, really lows. But the fact that you do everything on a consistent basis is what will get you ahead. There's this guy I follow. His name's Nick Bear. He talks about being consistently good, not always great. And that's key. Knowing that you're good every single day is enough. You don't always need to be great. So consistency has definitely played a big role in my life as far as like not quitting. Yes. I just can't quit at anything that I do. You know, I really can't. So consistency is super important. I think that's the biggest driver to being successful in anything.
Well, that's a big quote, right? Consistency is key.
Yeah, it is key. It is, exactly.
Yeah, another big quote, I think I might have seen you say it on your timeline before as well, is there's a big difference between motivation and discipline. Right? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so motivation is like the spark. It gets us going, but discipline is what's going to get us through everything. It's going to get us through the tough times, through the good times, because even in the good times, you got to be disciplined, man. You have to be disciplined. Things are going well. You kind of want to take big jumps. You want to be happy, feel the emotions. Stay disciplined,
because the motivation is not always going to be there, right?
It's always going to be there. It really is, and I think that'll die down eventually. But it's a good way to start. It's a good way to pump the engine.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
I agree.
For sure.
That definitely speaks to the topic I was going to bring up next, which is I feel like in order to be really consistent, you really got to fall in love with the journey. And I think that speaks to when people say, find something that you love to do, because once you find out what you love to do, you're not going to feel like working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there could be a million reasons to give up. You know what I mean? So can you talk about falling in love with the journey and how you've done that yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So fall in love with the journey. I think you have to build it. You have to build your trail. That way you can fall in love with it. Most people want to fall in love with the goal, and that's not it, man. I'll talk about that about me. Like, I fell in love with goals before, and when you reach them, it's not what you expect. It's not what you really wanted. Yeah. It's like, you know what I really enjoyed? Being on the run to the goal.
It's kind of like don't meet your idol, right?
Yeah, man. It really is. Exactly. And that's why I don't know how I feel about this. I want to get your guys' opinion on this, but like, I don't like when people say that I'm successful. I don't even like to say that I'm successful, because I feel like success is like I've already made it, and I don't really want to make it. I love being in the journey. I love working. I love being in the trail. That's how I feel about that. What do you guys think about that?
I want to bring it back to what you said about something about goals and achieving stuff, because I feel like the older we get, and we kind of talked about it before the podcast, we kind of feel a little bit like more what's important, and our goals kind of evolve, you know what I mean? So instead of like all the glamour and the money, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of being a little bit more grateful that I have my family around me and I have the resources around me to do what I want to do. Yeah, I might not be making $1 million from it. If I can eventually, great. But I'm kind of having more of an enjoyment being in the present moment. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like that might answer. Can you remind me what the question was?
Well, he was talking about like almost like in a fame aspect, and I think if you get to that point, they're gonna expect more. So you don't kind of want to be up there. You want to stay where you're enjoying yourself and doing good.
Oh,
right?
I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, too, I wanted to say what you're talking about, the fame aspect too. I feel like, you know, a lot of people strive for that, and then when they hit those goals, they're kind of just like almost like they're not fulfilled.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And you
but
kind of
people
see
think
like
they are. That's why they expect more, and then it kind of puts you in a tough spot.
well, that's why you see, you know, all those crazy rich people spiraling out all the time, because they realize, you know, I got all this stuff, but I'm not happy. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, as human beings, we kind of learn as we get older what really makes us happy, and it's really like the more small things that you might not have realized at first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's true. I think with age, right, you realize like the little things are the ones that really, really matter. Not that big old goal that we all kind of chase. That's true. Very true.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, how often you work out all the time? You run a business. It's important to balance all those. It's important to balance the business, mental health aspect, and the fitness of it. How do you balance it all? I already asked you that, didn't I?
Yeah. But I mean, I can add a little bit more to it as family. Team. I have a really good team. It's never about me. It really isn't. I love building teams. So definitely family and team.
What was the catalyst for your fitness journey?
I grew up playing soccer since I was a kid. So I kind of come from that background. Running itself, I hated it. I hated running.
That's all you do in soccer.
Yeah, exactly. I hated it, man. But I think after my dad's passing, which was it's going to be 4 years now, I kind of just use it as meditation now, and I need it. My body like craves it. I do not feel like my day's done if I don't get a run in.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So it's like it's just my mind needs it, my body needs it, my soul needs it, whatever you want to call it. I just need to go out there and run.
Ever since I've been consistently working out, if there's like a period, like I get a rest day and then I get 2 rest days in my workout week. If it goes any longer than that, I start to feel like mad, like I was supposed to work out today, I didn't. Like I get upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like to speak to consistency, it's like I feel like once you get those habits embedded in you, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a momentum of a snowball that takes a momentum of its own.
It's like our podcast, right? We were doing it once a month, blah, blah, blah. And then we talked to each other and we're like, we're doing this every Sunday. And it's been over a year every Sunday.
Yeah.
And now it's just, like Sunday we just know. Like even podcast day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if we're not recording, we'll come over and we'll plot or whatever. Like it's dedicated to this. And that consistency is key because it's no longer work anymore to us. It's what we love to do on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And it's 1 year that you guys have this podcast, right?
It's been about a year and a half or
since
something
we
like
dropped, right?
Okay. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, because it was the first, like, January, the first month of not this year, but the year before.
It's been a hell of a ride, man. Speaking of podcasts, man, talk about your podcast. What it's about? What's the name of it? Tell us about it.
Yeah,
definitely. So we're probably going into our 3rd season. I like to call them seasons because to me it's a passion project.
Okay.
But I definitely going to stay consistent from moving on from now on.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely the goal. It's just been a lot of things going on. No excuses. I don't like making excuses. But you guys know how it is. This time we're coming in strong. But the podcast is First Mill. We talk about personal development. We bring in business owners. I like to showcase people that are on their journey to the first million. As hustlers.
Nice.
I grew up in the hip hop scene. Everyone talks about the first mill, my first million, my first. So that's where it comes from, and I want to showcase that. I want to showcase everyone.
Okay.
Not everyone's there yet, but they're on their way to the first mill.
And different paths.
Exactly. Great point. It's different paths.
There's different paths, and
I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that because your podcast is all about I'm on this level. Let me go ahead and figure out who's on the level under me and help them move up. And if not, let me figure out who's on the level above me and see if they can help me move up in some way. And it's all about community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I love about you, man. You're all about community. And growing up in the area of Wilmington, you know, it's always been all about community. You know, my stepdad went to Banning. He was a coach at Banning for a few years. My brother was a cheerleader at Banning. He coached the cheer squad for a few years. I feel like it's within that spirit in Wilmington to give back to the community once you feel like you've made it and you can give back. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, our company's there. We have a 10,000 square foot warehouse there. We've employed over 50 plus people in the last 4 years just in Wilmington alone.
Wow.
In and out. We've done, you know, you get your part-time jobs, your summer jobs. We get high school kids that come in. They help us package. So, you know, sometimes I'm so involved in the day-to-day that I when I take a step back, like, wow, we have really made an impact in the community.
I did this.
Know?
Like, this is great.
This is cool.
Yeah, it
So,
makes
like,
you feel good.
It does, because that's where I grew up.
Exactly,
You know? And
exactly.
these kids see the warehouse. They come in, you know, they see the movement, and it's like, this is across the street from my house. It's
like,
around the corner.
you can do this.
Yeah, you can just. I take them around. I'm like, I'm from.
I was
Wilmington.
you.
Yes, I went to the exact same elementary school, to the exact same middle school, to the exact same high school.
So what do you tell them? What do you tell a kid that's like, yo, like, I want to DJ and eventually I want to own a business. I want to do what you do, DJ Ralph Retro. Like, what's my first step?
The
you know
first step would be get out of your comfort zone. Definitely come out and see the world.
I agree.
Because once you're stuck, even in the city of Wilmington, right? We're still stuck there. We still only see what's going on. But if you step a little bit out and really see what's out there, your mind expands.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah,
That's what I usually tell them.
That's good.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up in Wilmington and being a DJ, and when did you start DJing, and how was that? You know, being, you know, you're like the leader of the party.
Yeah.
Because you're the selector. You know what I'm saying? You're selecting the tunes for the crowd to dance to. Yeah. What was that like?
So, I mean, I grew up DJing. My dad was a DJ. So I had the turntables at the house
same,
since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
He'd always be in the garage playing music. So grew up with all those records, things like that. So it kind of just was like you know, I had to be a DJ and I wanted to. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I really loved the community aspect of it. Everyone came out and party. You know, it's Wilmington. We have good parties, really, really good parties. Sometimes there's going to be some things that happen going down.
Well, we were in party cruise in 2006, 2007.
Okay,
you
so
know
you guys
what I
know
mean?
what's up.
So, we were in the Wilmington and Carson, all those parties.
So I love that, you know, and even now, I'm
was
sure
fun.
you guys get it. Like, everyone remembers those parties. Remember that party? Remember that party? Remember that? So I love that aspect of it now.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Yeah, hell yeah. What skills as a DJ have helped you in, you know, have a discipline as an entrepreneur or a leader?
I think the community aspect of it, really, just bringing people together, whether it's my team at work, family. I have a team overseas as well, where I'm able to.
Way.
Yeah, we have a team in India.
Dope.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so we have
cool.
that as well.
Hell yeah.
So it's just kind of directing, you know, being a part of the team, knowing what they need, just like being a DJ. You know, what type of music's hitting right now? Where do I need to take them in the journey through the party? Things like that.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your business. Let's say I'm a consumer. What kind of services or products would you offer me, and take me through how you make those happen?
Yeah, so we're print-on-demand business. So what that means is we hold stock of all the blanks, T-shirts, whatever we can print on, we hold it in our warehouse. And then once an order comes in, let's say you guys set up your merch business for your podcast. Once someone purchases a shirt that you guys listed up, then we make it and we ship it to them. So what this does, it brings opportunity to brands, to athletes, to entrepreneurs that sell online, for them to not put any upfront costs, only lead people into their website, and then we ship it to them. Once it gets shipped out, then you guys pay for that.
Okay, that's crazy. That's
So-
good. That's good.
Print on demand.
Yeah, I like that.
As an artist, I became a producer because I felt like if I really wanted a beat to sound a certain way, I should learn how to do it so that I can have a little bit more power in my production, basically. Do you kind of feel like that's what you did in starting your printing company? Did you feel like there was a service that you really needed all the time, and you were like, I might as well just do this myself?
Exactly. So I started with an online business. I wanted to get into online selling because we used to sell tickets and everything to shows. We did a bunch of shows. So I saw the market of how the online experience was growing as far as the internet goes and how much money you can make online. And I was like, okay, well, what else can I sell? So I opened up a little Etsy store, and I put up a design that I made. It was rhythm. I was into like radio music back then, so rhythm.
Okay,
So I put
nice.
it sold, dude. And then I had a company fulfill it.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, you know what? I want more control of this.
Yeah.
I come from the printing industry,
Yeah.
you know, so my dad had a printing company. I was like, why don't I just print the shirts?
Yep.
So I started printing them.
Wow.
We started growing, and then we started offering our services to other online sellers as well.
I love that
That's-
mentality,
yeah.
man. Why don't I just do it?
Yeah. Why don't
Yep.
Why don't I just do it?
I mean, back again. That's why we did the podcast,
Yeah.
right? Why
Yeah.
don't we do it? He does
Yeah.
audio, I do video.
Yeah.
And then we want to, in the near future, is record other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, we have the equipment. If you guys don't have the equipment, we'll do it for you.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't even really think about that.
Yeah.
Why don't I just do it? Like that's really powerful if you really think about
Yeah.
it. Like
I feel like you've always been that guy. Have you always been that guy
it's
your
just
whole life?
naturally in you. You don't have to think about
yeah,
it.
I'm like, oh shit, it really is. Like,
Yeah,
oh, that's
it
pretty
re-
dope.
yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah,
I
hell
love
yeah.
that.
So what's going on in the world of DJ Ralph Retro right now? Are you DJing anywhere? Are you
Nah,
throwing
man,
any
I'll make a
events
comeback
or-
soon. I'll make a comeback
The
someday.
fresh baby is here, so
Yeah,
you know
I'll
this
make
is
a comeback.
yeah.
For
Me,
sure. Right now,
me and my band have this group
my
chat
band,
still going.
my band.
And I try to throw them like little seeds and stuff here. You're not
Yeah.
down to throw a reunion show at the end of the year, like stuff like that.
That would be
like,
dope.
Or like, what if I booked a little session, you know what I'm saying, in November, and everyone
Yeah.
kind of came out and we did like a little song, like just a little, you know what I'm
Little
saying?
something.
Like, you know, I feel that. I feel like on the comeback. What do you feel about the music industry right now with the whole Diddy trial and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that kind of broke the illusion for me because, like I was saying earlier, we were talking a little bit about before the pod. I kind of wanted the flashy, like the car and the big record deal, and I kind of had to learn how to be content with what I have. And like I said, like life is happening to you. Look around you. Life is so I had to realize that, man, I actually am very happy with the things I have, and I have everything I need right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that? Do you have anything that made you rewrite your ambitions as far as your creative endeavors or anything like that?
Okay, as far as like the just where we're at with the online, where we're at with TikTok and everything, I feel people need to be themselves, right? And I think that's where the music industry's headed now too. I see a lot more just authenticity.
Okay.
No more record labels as much. I'm sure they're back there controlling things, but I see these like indie artists just coming in and just like really making their mark on TikTok.
Yeah,
on,
that's
on
because of those
Instagram.
platforms. Yeah,
because of those platforms, man. I think people are really tired of the illusion. I don't want to say fake, but the illusion that we typically wanted. We all grew up with hip hop. That you know, chains, cars, and all that. We're kind of getting tired of it, becoming more real. Like I just want to relate to you, especially because information is traveling so much faster. You can read what's real and what's not. So I think music, the whole industry is going to go into that, kind of sort of that path.
Yeah. I feel like it's much. The music videos that do much better is someone that's just like, you know, out in their neighborhood on like some kind of car that's just like, you know, not like the best looking car.
The simpler the video, the better.
Exactly.
You know?
Agree. I think the more real, I like to say, like the more real, the more
That's
authentic.
what I did with the last video I recorded, right? We just had one location in the car, made it simple, but I did a little things to make it look cool, but it's just simple.
Exactly.
And I thought that was cool. You know?
I think that's the route it's taking, man. I think it's cool. I love it. I love it.
As a social media content creator, where do you think the youth is headed? Is it healthy or is it unhealthy with the fix on social media right now?
Damn, that's a good question. I think personally, too much information being given to kids. Too much information, even us. I can't even say just kids, just us. The amount of content and information we are consuming, sometimes we don't even have time to process it and really think deeply about things. And I think that's where we should really be. Like, okay, go watch this video. My dad used to do this by the way. He would make us read the newspaper in Spanish, and he would make us do a report every single Saturday and Sunday. Oh, wow. So as I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna raise my son? Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, you want to watch something? You have an hour. Now you're gonna give me a report. Think about exactly what they're talking about, what lessons they want to do, and I think that the content is amazing. People are they're putting out is really, really good, a lot better than when we grew up. But as far as just dissecting it and really consuming it, that's where we need to be.
Yeah, well, the problem is the attention span, social media, it also doesn't help with that, which is why they have YouTube Shorts now, right? Like there's a reason why they're
So
short,
fast,
because people would want to watch this whole video. And it started with Vine, right? It was like 7 seconds.
Yep.
And it just all went from there.
And
And
To be
like
fair, though, for the amount of brain rot there is out there, there is a lot of thought-provoking
Yes.
and enlightening
there,
content.
There
for
is,
sure.
but I think it's overpowered by the nonsense. At least when it's pushed.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
You know, it
it's
depends on your
washed.
timeline. So, you know, I think it is as where we're at in our lives. I'm 35 as well. You know what I mean? Like, we're kind of in the middle of the young generation and the older generation.
Yeah.
It's up to us to kind of set the pathways for, you know, the morality of how to use social media and how to use the fact that this information is going
You know,
so
it's
fast.
not. I see other people's stories and I'm like, you're doing this to yourself. Why are you putting this up
That's
there?
true, though. We get to control our algorithms.
You do.
I just think we just need to pause it a little bit
Oh,
sometimes.
for sure.
You know, and be
For
like,
sure.
okay, everything you consume, what have you learned?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I usually pick up a short or a TikTok or a reel, whatever it is, and then I go watch the full YouTube video.
Okay.
If I like the short,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this is cool. Let me go watch the full YouTube.
When I'm at work, I don't even listen to music anymore. I listen
Yeah.
to podcasts.
Yep, same.
Because I want to intake information, whether it's comedy or history or conspiracy. Like, I want to learn something or be entertained. But music is just not what it was to me anymore.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree 100% with that, for
Like,
sure.
there's good music out there for sure, but I'd rather spend my time learning something.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I'm way more podcast driven, way more long form content, for sure.
Do you have any hobbies that aren't related to all of the goals you're trying to achieve?
MMA.
Oh,
Okay,
no way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
What do
that's
you do?
dope.
You
I
doing,
box.
uh,
I box.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You do box.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
man. I love it. I love it.
That's dope.
I
That's really fun for
love
me.
hitting the heavy bag,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
And coming up with combinations like
Yeah.
1, 2, slip left,
Yep.
hook to the left, hook to the body. You
To
know
the
what I'm
liver.
saying? Yeah, exactly.
I love
exactly.
it, man. I love it. I love MMA. I love like just learning about it and things like that.
Yeah. I feel like exercise in itself is kind of a meditation because it lets
sure.
you kind of let go of the thoughts. You know what I mean? It kind of lets you. Mindfulness meditation is just, you know, letting go of all those thoughts because you're not your thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How important is meditation in your daily routine?
Right now that we're just talking about it, man, I think we should even incorporate meditation in school systems.
For sure.
Just because kids are gonna need it.
Even
more
a
than
short,
ever.
short amount of time,
Even,
you know,
like,
to
yeah.
build up. Like,
Yeah.
We used to take naps when we were like in kindergarten,
Oh, for
preschool.
sure.
Now we should have someone like help them meditate,
Yep.
learn how to. Those
Yep.
thoughts aren't yours, like you were saying. I think that's
Yeah.
super important.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
meditation is huge,
Yeah.
huge,
especially to bring it back with the social media, man. I was talking about it before, and I had a few good videos that did well on TikTok, and they do well on Instagram sometimes too. And sometimes, like, I notice myself being like going from TikTok to Instagram to TikTok to Instagram to TikTok, and I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
damn, I gotta fucking erase and unplug and fucking put my phone over there for a second because, like, as much as I want the podcast to do well and as much as I love, you know, followers and getting a bunch of likes on stuff, I am feeling that addiction and that unhealthy fixation on the social media. You know what I mean? So I think meditation in schools would be a good thing, and it would be a great thing to educate the youth on balancing out their soul and making sure that they're not just spending their whole life looking at a black mirror. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Exactly. Agree
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and as far as like with the podcast too, I sometimes edit my own reels and things like that. What I've learned is just outsource it. Like, don't even think about it no more. I'm like right now I'm in the phase of don't overthink, just do. So for example, like if I see myself really consuming a lot of content, it's like, okay, you need to pause, just outsource this to someone else, which I have a team in India or Fiverr, wherever I can hire someone, and just let them create my content, post it, schedule it, ready to go.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of how I do it. I want to
Yeah.
unplug a little bit
Nice,
sometimes,
nice.
For
just
sure.
for my own
Yeah.
sake.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a video. I do this motivation series on TikTok, and one of my motivation tips was like, just, you know, don't be afraid to ask for help sometimes. You know, hyper independence is a trauma response in some people. You know what I mean? Just, I'm gonna do it all by myself. Like, there have been so many times where I did that, and if I just let a few people help me, like, it would have been went so much better. But it's like, what am I trying to prove to myself, and what am I trying to prove to everybody else when the goal could have gotten achieved way much better if you would have just let people help? You know what
I
mean?
make the reels for our podcast, right? But I do it while I'm at my regular 9 to 5 in my car. But I've designed a system for myself to I don't even think about it. I
plug and
just
play.
do it.
Yep.
I just do it,
Love
and
it.
like I'll send it to them every 2 or 3 a day for the next 2 days, and they're done.
Yep, I
and
love that.
It's not hard. I like doing it, so you know what I mean. But I built that system. Of course, when I first got into it, it's like, all right, how am I gonna do this, and that? But now it's just like you said, plug and play, and I'm good.
I'm huge on
Yeah.
systems and processes, man. Like that's how you optimize your life.
Yep.
Sounds very like business kind of ish for me, but
It
I
is.
learned it from there.
Yeah.
Right? I learned it, but I put it in my life now. Like I can
It's-
pull up
it's-
my
it's
to-do list for my
discipline.
morning,
Yeah.
everything. You know, like it's,
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
a creature of habit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking every Saturday and Sunday morning. I'm fucking in my garage at 10 a.m. fucking working out. You know what I
Rituals.
mean? Like I have,
There you go,
I have a
exactly.
whole
Yeah.
routine, and it's just like when it gets thrown. I think that's what I need to. Like I said, I need to work on is just sacrificing. I can't do everything in the
sharing
weekend.
the load.
Yep.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Sharing the load. There's a great chapter in a book called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. The chapter is called Share Your Load. Share the load.
Okay.
Share the load with your team.
Yeah.
So I always go back to it at least like every 6 months. That
Okay.
specific chapter because I'm
Okay.
like, no one can do it as good as me. No one can do it as good as me.
Nice,
So I
nice.
go back like, no, there's people that can
There's-
do it
there-
better.
there are
and
definitely
you can work
people,
on
yeah.
what you're good at.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I
yeah,
go back to that.
Yeah, it's part of breaking that ego, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
ego is part of where it got you to where you are because it made you so powerful. But then it's like, at a certain point, it's like, it's okay to ask for help.
Yep.
Definitely.
mean?
Definitely.
What kind of advice can you just give to our listeners about anything that you want to say?
Okay, so I usually give advice depending on what I'm going through right now. I don't like to like reflect in old Ralph or future Ralph.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
right now, I'm going through authenticity through just not overthinking. I think trying to be someone in the future isn't as rewarding as just loving who you are now because everything else is going to unfold. If you've set a solid foundation for yourself,
Wow.
if you have like the right values, you know what you stand for, your heart's in the right place, be present. Everything else is going to come. I promise you. And it's sometimes hard to believe, but it will come.
It'll all work out.
It will all work out.
Yeah.
It will all work out. Zoom out sometimes.
Yeah.
Zoom out. see where you're
Relax.
at. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And for a lot of people, it's very hard.
Oh,
It's very
definitely.
hard,
Definitely.
Ambitious people, hyper focused people, it's very hard to accept that because, like you said earlier, like the ego got you to where you're at, and you want more from them, but the ego can only get you so far, man. After that, there's more levels.
Agreed.
Sometimes your strengths become your weaknesses, man.
Exactly.
And you got to really be introspective and look at yourself and really be able to admit that to yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Admit when the things that I'm strong at aren't really helping me right now. You know what I mean? And that's been something that I've been learning right now too. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on,
That
man.
was
It's
great.
been great having a discussion with you. I'm really excited for the next season of your podcast. We'll probably have to be doing some business together once we get some shirts made.
Yep, definitely.
So we're gonna put his links down there again. DJ Ralph Retro. Is there anything you want to say while I'm on the way out?
Love yourself and be yourself.
Yes, nice. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Outside Minds podcast. I'm your host and creator, Stilo Free. This is the other host and creator,
Dafo 20.
and we out.
Peace.
Peace.